Hey, this is Ryan Phillips here, and this is my game that I'm actually doing this commentary just about an hour after the game completed. So I play this game tonight against Jonathan Zavala. Good player, good guy. Anyway, it was a Sicilian Sozin, and I guess Jonathan misplayed the opening a little bit, which gave me a pretty solid advantage, which I think I converted pretty nicely. I was actually really happy with this game. I don't really play the Sozin. I don't know if I've ever played it before. I guess I'm just keep stealing Ed's opening ideas. But anyway, yeah, I knew playing Jonathan that he's pretty well versed in the Najdorf. So I knew after a6 that if I played my typical bishop g5, that I thought he'd be well prepared for that opening, and I knew that he at least knew the theory pretty, probably just as far as I do, which I actually know that line pretty deep as well. But I just figured that we'd go into a kind of position that he was very familiar with, and that I knew he studied a lot. So it's kind of one of the interesting points when you play at a chess club, when you see the same opponents every week in and week out, and you start knowing what they play. It does become like a little bit of game theory and psychology, which is pretty cool because it just adds another element to the game, which makes it more exciting. And then I imagine that this effect would be even more intensified if you're playing a match against somebody. So I'm definitely getting to the point where I'd like to play a match against an opponent if someone was willing. I think it would be fun and a good learning experience. Play like a 12 or 24 game match or something, or maybe we could even do like the Fisher method for a first to 10 wins. If we both had some free time for that. Anyway, though, here's the game. E4. Sorry about that. E4, C5, knight F3. So I actually took a little bit of time on knight F3 because I knew exactly what was going to happen. That Jonathan was going to play the Najdorf. So I was thinking if I should deviate even earlier, possibly on move 2 to avoid his Najdorf. I actually thought about playing knight C3 for just probably 5 seconds or so because everyone at the club seems to be having such nice success with the close Sicilian. But I think Jonathan actually plays really well against the close Sicilian. He's probably the best at the club, I'd say, at playing against the close Sicilian. He always seems to get good positions. So I kind of dismissed that idea pretty quickly. And then I even thought about playing the Smith-Morra, but I wasn't, I don't really know that too well. I thought about playing an idea with like d4, c takes d4, then knight f3 even. So let me go back. So actually, I played a game as black against Chad Govin in this line, man, so many years ago. But I always remember it really well just because I thought it was an interesting game. I saw in a book that after knight f3, that black could play e5 here. I think it was Jeremy Silman who recommended this. And the point being that after knight takes e5, then queen a5 is just going to win the knight. But I thought Chad, being really, man, that guy's so talented, being a real innovative player. He played c3 here. And I think he transposed maybe into even a more favorable Smith-Morra, because now with the pawn on e5, now this diagonal, the a2 g8 diagonal is, it's really hard for black to contest this diagonal now. So I don't remember the result of that game. I know I actually have a pretty solid, I think I have pretty even score Chad, outside of blitz games where it was not even competitive. But we played a lot of 30-minute games. I think I Mr. Good Sense and then even high school tournaments, and I think my style actually was pretty good. I think I was a tough style for him to face, to be honest. And we used to always have really good games, and a lot of the tactics he got away with against worse players, I was able to, I thought I was able to hold my own pretty well. But anyway, back to the video. I guess I'm reminiscing a little bit now that the high school tournament's tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. So anyway, so knight f3, d6, d4, c takes. Knight takes, knight f6, knight c3, and then now we're in territory after a6. And so here's where I tried to, I don't know, I figured I'd be a little, I'd add something to my repertoire here. So I played bishop c4, which I think maybe I played this opening once or twice. I really can't remember. If this is my first time playing this, I wouldn't be shocked. I feel like I might have played it before, but again, I can't recall. So anyway, bishop c4, just the idea is to control the a2 g8 diagonal, and also white could castle, and then all the Bobby Fischer games, and then a lot of my friends' games, Ed and stuff. They play, or I don't know what they play, but a lot of the Sozin games, the idea is like f4, f5. Ed had an interesting game, a real nice game with g4 after that kind of e6, bishop e7 setup, which is pretty passive for black. He played g4 and kind of just demolished his opponent. So I played bishop c4. I was fully expecting e6 here. Jonathan surprised me with b5. And after the game, we both thought, well, I don't know if I thought that this was a really bad move, and this kind of gave black a bad position already. And I think Jonathan kind of agreed with that consensus just because the game didn't go too well for him. But actually, just like looking at the computer analysis, I'm surprised that this move is actually fully playable. After bishop b3, actually even, I guess someone tried bishop b7, which doesn't look that great. But after e6, this actually just transposes into the main line of the Sozin. So I guess this is a transposable move order according to the computer. But I wanted to see if I could exploit b5 because I knew that this was not orthodox. Usually you see e6 first, bishop b3, and then b5. So black played b5 first, and then the drawback I figured of not playing e6 is that I could play a piece at d5 square, and then it looked like the only choice I had was the bishop, because if I play another piece, then I'm just gonna lose my bishop. So I figured that I guess just like thematically, it seemed to make more sense to me to play bishop d5, so I went with that move. And computer actually didn't really care for this move too much, so I was shocked afterward. The game just went so well for me. I felt like I played a really good game this game, that I was surprised to see that the computer didn't think my position was already better than it was. Actually, computer thinks the position is pretty level. So it's interesting that black can get away with playing b5 first. Although it looks like I don't think it's an improvement over e6, b5. I think it's basically just the same exact line. And then I guess the drawback is now I do get this option of playing bishop d5, which maybe black might not be too familiar with. So I guess the drawback is it gives white one more option. But at the same time, if the option's not all that great, then no harm, no foul. So knight takes d5. And then I was shocked computer recommends e takes d5. I really didn't even consider this move. I just thought the knight takes d5 was so good. I mean, obviously I did consider, before I played knight d5, so going back, in this position I calculated kind of, I thought I calculated fairly far ahead. The line I actually ended up calculating was actually no good for white, and I think Jonathan was afraid of the same line that actually turned out not to be good for white, which I'll show here. So knight takes d5, and then you don't have to worry about e6. This is like the natural move in this position. But Jonathan and I both thought I had this nice move bishop g5, which turns out to be a total blunder, just because of queen takes g5, knight c7. Actually, king d7 is better. So this is why computer is so strong. I mean, you can find, it knows exactly where the pieces belong. So a move like king d7, where it looks like it might block in the light square bishop, it knows exactly that this is a better move because bishop's not going to go on this diagonal anyway. It's going to go on the a8 h1 diagonal. So a move like king d7, the computer is so smart in calculating lines like this because it knows exactly where the minor pieces belong and where the king belongs. I think a human player, myself included, play king d8 naturally. It just seems like I don't know, for some reason it just seems like a better move for a human, maybe because it gives the bishop the d7 square, but it's not the place where the bishop belongs, I guess. So anyway, so king d7, knight takes a8, queen takes g2, and this is what I was looking at. I saw all this when I played bishop d5. This is where I saw it at this point, and but I missed that. I just assumed I can get my knight out, which is a terrible assumption. I just figured knight b6, and then after knight b6, I can't move my knight anywhere else. So so this is just totally winning for black, and we were both worried about this. In the post-mortem, we didn't actually even consider queen takes g5, which just kind of shows the way that they have a lot of improvement to make at chess still. Not even a not even consider that, which is kind of an obvious reply. We both kind of looked at f6. This is what I had looked at in my head also before playing bishop d5, and then just bishop takes f6 is good. So I saw that this position in my head, and the computer says this is phenomenal for white, and I missed this knight takes e6. So that just shows that I have some improvement to do in my calculating abilities, but still I thought I saw it pretty far. But of course the basis, the importance of calculating is not how far you can see, but how well you're able to evaluate the position when you get that far. If you can get 3 or 4 moves farther than your opponent in your head, but your opponent knows who's winning and you don't, then it doesn't matter. They can see farther than they can. So I guess I saw this position, but didn't realize how great it was for white. But obviously, this is based on another bad assumption that that black will play f6. f6 isn't as good as just queen takes g5. So anyway, so Jonathan ended up not playing e6 because he was worried about that line, as was I. He ended up playing bishop b7. And now I thought for a little bit. I kind of just studied the position. I didn't have like a first instinct actually for a while. So I kind of I wanted to play castle for a second, which the computer actually says is the best move. So I guess my first instinct after a long think was castle, but it didn't jump out at me. I was just trying to figure out how to exploit. I thought my knights were well placed. I like the knight on d5 and d4. I saw a game of Tau where he played like Belgrade Gambit, and I'm not gonna like go into the opening, but basically the idea is that these knights on d4 and d5 can be real strong and real annoying for the black coordination of his pieces, and it creates a lot of tactical abilities for white. So I ended up playing bishop g5, which I was happy that I found this move. It took me a few minutes to think about the position before I came up with this, and I just realized that since black can't play e6, this is a real kind of pain, a real thorn in black's side. And then I figured h6 would be a weakening move. After h6, I intended queen h5, g6, and then for some reason Jonathan and I looked at this in the post-mortem and we just kind of dismissed that this was good for white also, which isn't the case. Knight d7, actually black has a small advantage. So we looked at this line and we actually just kind of stopped analyzing. It was like, oh, this looks pretty good for white. It's kind of funny, white has 4 pieces developed and black only has 1, but Sicilian is kind of a stodgy defense. You don't have to have a lot of the pieces defended or developed. Sometimes it's black. You just need to control kind of this crucial squares, and your position is pretty solid. So this is another line that didn't actually occur in the game though. Jonathan played knight to d7, which I didn't like. Even during the game, as soon as he made this move, I was pretty critical. I thought it was a pretty bad move. And here I spent a lot of time. I wanted to create something cool here. It's kind of funny, like say just to pass a move, just pass a move for white, black's move would be critical. Say white plays h3, and then black plays a move like h6. This is what I was looking at during the game. I was hoping that something with knight e6 would work, because the black queen is in a lot of trouble, and then obviously if black just takes, then queen h5 is going to lead to mate. So the queen is forced to move, and then after the queen moves, we have this nice knight d to c7 check, which is far better than this knight e to c7 check, because knight on e8 would guard the knight on e6 would guard the d8 square, so the king can't move there. So for example, if the queen moved here, which is really, it only has a few logical choices here. If he plays like queen a5, that's only prolonging the inevitable for 1 move after b4. So anyway, so queen here, which is a logical move, and then after this, the queen has to take. Otherwise, king has nowhere to move. So anyway, so the fact that the pawn was still on h7 versus h6 made a huge difference. So obviously, I didn't play h3 here. I ended up playing castle after spending some time trying to figure out if I could make knight e6 work, which I couldn't. So I played here, and then I thought Jonathan played another bad move. He played knight f6. And now I thought that white should be able to win this game as long as they play relatively well the rest of the way. So I played the natural move. Well, I thought it was pretty natural. Bishop takes f6, and then Jonathan recaptured with the g pawn. I think he plays e takes f6, this d6 pawn just be ugly, and black's position will slowly erode and end up collapsing. So d takes f6, and then I came out with queen h5 pretty soon, which was the best move. But I spent some time. I wanted to see if I could make a move like c4 work, but I just was too slow after e6. I thought the cool thing was that the reason why I like c4 is that, you know, if he plays the bad move, obviously of just taking, then I have actually plan on playing. Computer says rook e1's best, but I actually plan on playing queen a4, queen e7, and then knight c7, which actually isn't even that good for white, but it seemed like it'd be pretty good during the game. I guess actually queen takes c4 is better, not picking up the exchange, which is news to me. So I was expecting to play knight c7 if this position arose, which I knew it was very unlikely that the position would come up, because I thought Jonathan wouldn't play b takes c4, which is obviously a pretty bad move. So anyway, so I ended up playing queen h5, which is the best move. And then Jonathan, I think, kind of got lost. I wasn't really sure he was. Okay, well, next move gets lost. So he played bishop takes d5, which I wasn't really sure why he played this move. I thought this was a bad move. So I guess he's already starting to like lose the thread of the position. But I think the next couple moves after this, he really kind of loses his way. So I played bishop takes d5, and then I played e takes d5, which is I think quite a bit superior to queen takes d5. And then he played this strange move h6, which I didn't care for that move at all. I didn't really even understand what he was trying to accomplish. So I just kept trying to improve the development of my pieces. Played rook fe1. I thought it was a natural idea just to contest the e file and put some pressure eventually on the e7 pawn, especially since this pawn it's not going it. I shouldn't say never, but in the meantime it can't go anywhere. E6 just runs into lots of good options. D takes e6 is the best, or rook takes e6 is good because of the pin on the e8 h5 diagonal. So Jonathan played rook h7 here. So I guess he's trying to guard the f7 pawn. I'm not really sure what he's trying to do. I think he's trying to free his pieces, maybe bishop g7 or something, which doesn't work. Here I actually missed a good move. Well, I don't know if it was the best move, but I saw after I moved that queen f5 was playable, and then I could consider taking the f6 pawn due to the pin. So basically, as you can see, just black's pieces are really tied down, and white's pieces are really very well placed, and you know, I'm just going to keep building up the tension in the position. So I think I played probably not a good move, but I thought it was okay, but it wasn't that forcing. I played rook e2, just trying to double up the rooks on the e file. It is a little slow. I thought that the position was so crushing I could sit on the position a little bit and just build up my attack. But I probably should try to play a little bit more accurately than this move. Alright, and then Jonathan played, I thought, a good move. This is, computer isn't rated too highly, but I thought this was a good move just to at least try to put some pressure on white's position. So he played queen b6. And then the computer recommended knight f5 here, which I considered for a bit, but I didn't really see the full merits behind the position behind this move. So I ended up playing knight c6, which is slightly inferior. I guess what happens after, let's see, knight f5 and then e5. I see. So the reason why this is better is because I could take here and I don't have to worry about the queen hitting the knight on c6. So that is yeah, that is very significant that I missed that. Okay, that makes sense. So I played knight c6, and then Jonathan played the good move e5. So now I can see why the knight on c6 is worse placed than the knight on f5. And I didn't want to gloss over Jonathan's move. I thought he played the best move here, and really the only one that kind of gave him a chance to maybe get some counterplay. So he took a little bit of time when he found e5, and yeah, I think he should be happy with himself for finding this. I mean, I don't know if it's an extremely difficult move to find, but I thought it was, you know, I thought it was a good idea. What I was hoping to play, I was hoping the game would kind of go like this: rook g7, rook ae1, rook g5, and then I was gonna mate him. This is what I was hoping would happen, but you know, he's a good player, Jonathan. I wasn't like underestimating him or thinking he would fall into these traps, but you know, obviously it's important as a chess player to kind of see all all the options at your disposal. You never want to just assume your opponent's gonna find is gonna see all your tactics, because you know, you're not gonna win many chess games if you just assume that your opponent sees everything, and you gotta, you know, you have to create threats, and sometimes they don't see them, and that's how you win some games. You know, obviously other times is a positional grind, but sometimes they make bad tactical errors, and that leads to victories as well. So he played e5, which is a good move, and then I found the good move queen f5. So now, so obviously when Jonathan played e5, he had to be willing to sacrifice the f6 pawn, but I think it was probably the best bet for him. So he played rook g7, which so he basically only has two moves: rook g7 or rook h8, and rook g7 is obviously much better because of rook h8, queen takes f6. Now I'm getting a tempo on the rook as well. So I played here, or black played rook g7, and I took the f6 pawn. Jonathan played rook g6, and then so before when I played queen f5, I envisioned putting the queen on h4. So this was all I had seen all this in my head. So I played here, and then for some reason I kind of didn't see Jonathan's response. He played queen c5. And I think this is also very interesting psychologically, because I think the reason why I didn't see is that he was going to create a threat. Not that it was a threat that's devastating to me or anything, but just the idea that I've been attacking for so long, you kind of almost forget that your opponent can create threats too. So psychologically, queen c5 was a tough move to deal with. Even though chess-wise the position is totally crushing for white. So black played queen c5. And then I'm getting pretty good at these queen centralization moves, I think. So I think this is like I think if I had to say one area of my game where I feel a lot better at than maybe like 2-3 years ago, it's that I'm really starting to see the value in centralizing my queen and when to do it, and kind of creating cool threats. So one of the main reasons why I like queen e4 is because I like the idea that say black wastes a move with h5. I like that I have this idea of knight takes e5, and then if d takes, I could play. I guess just queen takes e5 is good here. I'm sorry. Let's go back. I shouldn't. H5 isn't the move I should be talking about. I was thinking that if black played bishop e7, that I thought I had this cool idea of knight takes e5, d takes e5, and d6. So I just like that I saw this idea, even though maybe it frees black's pieces up a little bit more than I need to. So maybe knight takes e5 objectively isn't the best line, but I thought playing the queen e4 was cool, that I could see that that if I could get this pawn from d5 to d6, then I'm also hitting the rook on a8. So basically what I'm just trying to say is that I think my board visualization has gotten a lot better. So I'm happy that I could see that I could eventually hit this rook on a8 potentially if black played too nonchalantly and played some inaccurate moves. So but black didn't play bishop e7. Black ended up playing rook to c8. And then, yeah, I guess the computer, I missed knight takes e5, so I saw that knight takes e5 was good with the rook on a8, or I thought it would be good since the queen could hit the rook potentially on a8 after d6, but I missed that it's a very good move here. I didn't see, after bishop e7, I didn't see how to make progress, but the computer just recommends a very simple move, which I should be able to find, rook a e1, and then I think this I could have seen, but I think I just probably stopped calculating after rook c7, thinking that that black's okay, because after like a move like d6, I just figured queen takes d6 or queen takes e5 is just I'm sorry, yeah, queen takes e5 is just winning for black. So I missed so obviously d6 doesn't work. I missed the move like I missed queen h8. So obviously king d7 is forced, and then even this I wouldn't I wouldn't be so sure. I guess this is where like an area where I could definitely improve, because I can see I could see that queen e5 is good, but I'm not able to in my head I might not be thinking I might not be thinking concretely. I'm thinking too generally that okay, black has two rooks versus a queen. That black's okay here, even though I have a 3-pawn advantage. The two rooks versus a queen, I can't really be sure that white's winning. But when you actually look at the position, white's actually crushing, I guess, because the black rooks are very unconnected, and the queen's extremely centralized, and then this d pawn is also strong as well. So when I'm when I was thinking if I want to play in this position, I was thinking too generally, like, oh, I just have a queen versus two rooks. That's not enough of an advantage. But I'm not, that's not how chess is supposed to be played. You have to think about things concretely, and you can't have these like general rules in your head, especially if they don't apply in the particular situation that you're looking at. So anyway, so I didn't see that, so I ended up playing rook a to e1 here, which isn't like a bad move by any stretch, but it's not it's a slight inaccuracy. So Jonathan played bishop g7, which was a natural move, and then I ended up playing king h1 here. So I'm trying to prepare the f4 advance. I had seen kind of king h1 before I played rook e1, but for some reason I wanted to guard this rook on e2. I thought maybe if I played king h1 immediately that I had to worry about queen c4. And I actually was planning on playing queen to f5 if this position came up. Oh shoot, okay, you gotta worry about the d5 pawn. So yeah, so I was worried about this, something like this. That's why I decided to play rook a1 before playing king h1. And then, so Jonathan played bishop g7, I played king h1, and then black played king f8, and then I just followed through my plan, so I got out of the pin. So now I played f4, and I was expecting Jonathan to play rook e8, and we actually looked at this quite a bit in the post-mortem. We actually looked at this for quite a bit. I came up with the move queen d3. This is the move I would have played in this position, and it looked pretty good. It looks pretty good for white here. The point is that it's not good for white just to take right away, because after bishop takes e5, I mean it's still good for white, but black's still surviving here. So this is the position that we looked at, and Virgil actually came and helped with the post-mortem, and this is what we came up with in the post-mortem, and this is what ended up. And then still white has an advantage, but this isn't we kind of stopped looking at the post-mortem because I guess you don't go into a post-mortem hoping to play out like a 50 move game where you have like a slight advantage. At least most people don't. At least not right after a game. Maybe when we go home, if you want to dedicate that much time to a game, you might look at it like, oh, I have this small advantage. Let's see how I can grind down 50 moves. But sometimes in a post-mortem, you're if you think you have something crushing and then you get into a position like this where there's no immediate win, even though it's still good for white, but there's no immediate win, you kind of just say, okay, let's see if we can find something better than this. So I think queen d3 that I came up with, I think would have been really good. Obviously the point being that you can't take because you're going to get mated. So this tactic actually kind of came up very shortly. Jonathan made a bad blunder here. So instead of playing rook e8, which I was expecting, he played a really terrible move, which is going to lead to a main 2. He played he takes f4. And I guess psychologically it made sense because his dark square bishop was so bad the whole game. I guess maybe he wanted to free it. Virgil had sat down probably, I think, about 10 seconds after Jonathan played e takes f4, and I was kind of studying the board for longer than I guess I should have. But initially I thought that after f4, this is kind of embarrassing to admit that he couldn't play e takes f4 because I was going to play queen e7, king g8, queen d7 with the threat of playing knight e7 check, which there's no way for black to stop since I already have 3 pieces guarding this square. And not only am I threatening to fork the rook on the king on g8 and the rook on g6, but also the rook on c8. So there's no way to stop at least losing the exchange. But then after Jonathan played e takes f4, I thought, I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I missed this, but I think I have something better here. I noticed that the king can't move, and this is something I should see when I play f4. I should realize like, oh, he can't take this because I'm going to mate him. So the fact that I missed this, that's not too good of a sign, but but still, I feel pretty happy with this game. I think I played well, and I guess the point is that I ended up not missing the mate, so I guess I can't beat myself up too much. But yeah, the placement of black's pieces is pretty awkward. So after queen takes e8, Jonathan resigned here because rook takes e8. Rook takes e8 is going to be a checkmate. So all in all, I thought I played a good game. I guess I exploited the fact that we both didn't think that Jonathan could play e6, so that worked out in my favor. And then yeah, I guess the b5 idea from Jonathan was interesting also in the Sozin. And I guess hopefully he watches this video. I'll be sure to tell him that he actually can get away with that because I was critical of the move after the game, and he was pretty critical of it too since he got punished so badly in this game. But actually, it's not a terrible move. So anyway, yeah, this is a fun game, and this is kind of the chess I always aspire to play. So I'm really happy with this game, and to beat Jonathan 24 moves is not a small task. Obviously, those chess this can happen to anybody, so I can't make any like overreaching statements about my game just off of this one game. But still, real good effort I thought, and I felt good at the board, which was a good thing because lately I haven't been feeling that sharp when I've been playing. So I was happy to feel good during a game. So anyway, I hope you guys gained a lot from it. I really appreciate all the kind words. So I've been getting a lot of compliments on these videos, which makes me really happy, and I'm appreciative that people are taking the time out to watch them and that they're enjoying them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my game, and hopefully it was somewhat instructive. And yeah, I'll be posting it shortly, and hopefully you guys keep following them. Appreciate it. All right, have a good one.